In a small town in Nigeria, secret, that hidden part of Power of Grace Ministries would soon become something nobody in the town could ignore. The rules were clear. Rule 1, no head tie or traditional wrappers. Rule 2, no long gowns. Rule 3, short dresses only, meaning skirts or skin-tight jeans. Rule 4, flawless makeup, colorful lip glosses preferred. Rule 5, bright flashy heels, shoes, red, green, yellow. The louder the color, the better. Every Sunday, the ushers stood at the gate like silent judges. Anyone who didn't meet the dress code was politely asked to return home. And yet, the young women didn't complain. They loved it. They planned their outfits days in advance, tested new makeup looks, and shared selfies of their Sunday looks with friends. Men too came, but not many, and mostly for the chance to see the women and book a date with the beautiful ones. The energy inside the church was like nothing anyone had experienced before. The music, the fashion, the energy, it was all part of Pastor Oliver's vision and underlying motive. Pastor Oliver was young, sharp, and unlike any pastor the town had seen before. His church, Power of Grace Ministry, had grown quickly, not because of miracles or fiery sermons, but because he understood the youth in a way no one else did. He spoke their language, moved with their rhythm, and created a space where they felt seen, celebrated, and free to be themselves. Every Sunday, the drums and music from Power of Grace Ministries rolled through the streets, reaching every corner of the town. People whispered about the young women in their colorful heels, about the way the church seemed alive with energy, unlike anyone they have ever seen. And the elders, who had spent decades guiding the town and watching over its people, grew uneasy. One hot afternoon, under the shade of the big mango tree near the village square, the elders gathered. Their walking sticks rested beside them, their faces lined with years of experience and worry. Elder Ayodele was the first to speak, clearing his throat as he looked around at the other ones. "This thing I am hearing about that new church, it is not good," he said. "Is it how people worship God now?" Another elder shook his head slowly. "My own daughter said they told her to buy red heels before she could join the choir," he added, his voice low but firm. "This is not church. They dress like people going to party, not worshippers. The pastor is spoiling our younger ones." After their deliberation, they all nodded in agreement. They had to see it for themselves, to understand if what they were hearing was true, so they decided to visit Pastor Oliver directly. The next morning, the elders arrived at the church. Pastor Oliver greeted them warmly, his usual calm smile in place. "Good morning, elders," he said. "What can I do for you today?" One of the elders took a deep breath. "We came in peace," he said. "This church is not like other churches. Without shame, we want to advise you. This is not the way of God. Please refrain from encouraging our young girls to dress indecently." Pastor Oliver's smile faded, and his eyes met theirs steadily. "Elders," he said, "times have changed. The youth of today want a different kind of worship, and that is what I am giving them. Decency cannot go out of the house of God," another elder insisted. "You cannot open the gates of God's house with vanity." Pastor Oliver's eyes sharpened. "Go and build your own church if you don't like mine," he said sharply. "Then you can run it the way you want." The elders exchanged quiet glances. Elder Isaac leaned slightly on his stick, his voice almost a whisper. "You are still young, Pastor, but pride is a dangerous fire. It may be small now, but it must burn everything." Pastor Oliver said nothing. He turned and walked back into the church, leaving the elders standing there, uneasy, uncertain, and for the first time, a little afraid of what they might not yet understand. The following Sunday, people flocked to the church, and the congregation was alive as usual. However, the first signs that something was wrong began to appear. Cynthia was the first, a bright young woman who had just graduated from university and returned home to her parents. She had heard about Power of Grace Ministries, about the energy, the music, the excitement, and the rules that the young people loved. One Sunday, she dressed carefully, applied her makeup with precision, and stepped into the church as if stepping into a new world. That was the last time anyone saw her. The town was quiet for a few days, unsure what had happened. Then, Boma arrived. She wanted to attend the service, and her cousin brother Alex agreed to drop her off in church. As they drove to service, they talked about the church and how flashy they ran their activities. On arrival at the gate, they took selfies together at the church gate, laughing and joking. Alex brought out his phone and recorded a short video as Boma catwalked into the church. Her heels clicking on the floor, her makeup flawless. That video was the last memory he had about her. As the afternoon passed, Boma did not return home. Her family worried, and soon they went to the church to ask about her. But the security guards standing at the gates insisted they had never seen her. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Rumors began to spread quietly among the town people. Mothers whispered to daughters. Friends exchanged concerned looks. And the elders began to wonder if their fears were coming true. Something inside the church was not what it seemed. And the very place that had drawn so many young people with excitement and beauty was hiding a secret that nobody outside could have imagined. As weeks went by, the disappearance became harder to ignore. People whispered about Cynthia and Boma, and the town began to feel a quiet unease whenever they spoke about Power of Grace Ministries. No one knew exactly what was happening inside, but hints of something dark began to surface. Pastor Oliver had a hidden business, one that nobody could have imagined. A business built on deception, using the church to lure unsuspecting young people, to sell them to people who practice rituals. His target victims are first-timers. In the Power of Grace Ministry, the first-timers lounge is where the transaction happens. The lounge is a seemingly comfortable space with air conditioning and refreshing drinks. Every new member was always invited for a one-on-one with the pastor. A brief introduction meant to make them feel special and welcome. However, the drinks offered there were not what they seemed. Some contained chemicals that left the first-timers unconscious for hours. By the time they wake up, it was often too late. They would discover themselves in the den of ritualists, where they were often used in evil sacrifices. The music, the fashion, the energy, it had all been a cover, a way to attract the young, to make them feel wanted and confident, while hiding a plan that was cruel and calculated. Alex couldn't stop thinking about his cousin Boma, the selfies, the video he recorded, the way she had smiled as she walked into the church. All of it haunted him. Something inside told him she had not just wandered off, that something was wrong. So he decided he had to find out what had happened, even if it meant putting himself at risk. One night, after everyone had gone home and the church was quiet, Alex slipped inside. He moved carefully, listening for any sound that might give him away. The halls were empty, the usual energy replaced by a stillness that made his heart beat faster. He followed the path toward the first-timers' lounge, the place Pastor Oliver had designed to make new members feel comfortable, a place that now seemed like a trap. Through a partially open door, Alex saw Pastor Oliver. A young member, unconscious, was laid on a chair, and Pastor Oliver was making a deal, speaking quietly to strangers who had come for the transaction. The room felt cold despite the air conditioning, and Alex's stomach turned as he realized the full scope of what was happening. Quickly, he pulled out his phone and recorded everything. Every detail, every whisper, every motion was captured. He left before anyone noticed. The weight of the truth pressing down on him. He now had evidence, proof of what had been hidden behind the smiles, the music, the fashion, and the rules of the church. Alex knew that this recording could bring justice for Boma, for Cynthia, and for anyone else who had vanished without a trace. Alex didn't waste a moment. He took the video straight to the authorities, showing them everything he had captured, the unconscious members, the deals, and Pastor Oliver himself orchestrating the terrible business. The evidence was undeniable. The authorities acted quickly. Pastor Oliver was arrested. His secret empire of deception and danger dismantled. The town, shocked and relieved, began to process the truth of what had been happening right under their noses. Power of Grace Ministries, once the booming heart of excitement in the town, became a cautionary tale. The music and laughter that had once filled the streets were replaced by whispers of disbelief and sorrow. But justice had been served. Alex, though shaken, felt a sense of relief, knowing that his courage had saved others from becoming victims, and that the town could begin to heal from the shadow that Pastor Oliver had cast over it. The story of Power of Grace Ministries serves as a reminder that not everything that looks exciting or alluring is safe. Charm, style, and energy can hide motives that are dark and dangerous. And even the places that seem welcoming may have secrets beneath the surface. Be careful of all the places you call churches. Some are dens of darkness in disguise. Thank you so much, my people, for watching this video. I encourage you, please, if you enjoyed the story, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more amazing tales that keeps you entertained. We love you. Bye for now. See you in our next video.